Hi everyone, welcome to your first class online whilst you're at home due to COVID-19. Woohoo! Today we're going to be talking about musical form, and this is something that will appear in your EST, and you'll be required to analyse it as well. Here's our lesson overview. So today we're going to be using the idea format, which is identify, define, explain, and analyse. Your learning intentions are to identify what is meant by musical form, define binary, ternary, popular song form, and strophic form, and explain how binary and ternary form are used in compositions, and then we'll analyse familiar and unfamiliar works for their form. Your success criteria: create a definition and a set of flashcards for each form discussed, and to use your knowledge to correctly identify a form in unfamiliar works. So, some key vocabulary that you need to know for this lesson. Form or structure is the plan or design of a musical work, so how we put it together. Binary form is the organisation of a musical work into two contrasting sections, labelled A, B, both of which are usually repeated. Ternary form is the organisation of a musical work into three sections, with a contrasting section between two repeated sections. So you have A, B, A. Make a little bit more sense when we look at it later on. Strophic form is music in which every verse and chorus is sung with the same refrain, A, A, A. And through composed, music with no repeated sections in which each section contains new melodic material. So your task towards the end of this is to try and create a set of flashcards with these definitions, or keep a mini dictionary and little glossary at the beginning of your books to refer back to. So labeling and analysing music. When we analyse music for form, we tend to look at the melody or the melodic content and see where it differs. Where it does differ, we use a different letter. So we use letters to indicate sections that vary from one to another, so A, B, C, D, all the way through to Z if you've got 26 different melodies in your piece of work. And if a melody returns, then we use the same letter for that melody. Sometimes when melodies return, they're modified, they may be a bit shorter, they may not appear in their entirety, or they're not exactly the same. We pop a little apostrophe next to that letter to indicate that something has changed about it. Remember that a particular form can be used for a single verse, or it can be used to organize an entire song. So in this lesson, we're going to be looking at a little bit of both. Some of the examples that we've got are for an entire piece, and some of them are just for one or two verses as well. So binary form, remember, is the organization of a musical work into two contrasting sections, A, B, both of which are usually repeated. So in your binary form, you've got an example here of Greensleeves, which is your ice cream truck song. Have a look at that. The first two lines, look very similar to each other. They both have the same rhythms. It changes a little bit towards the end to indicate the end of that section. And then the second two lines, or the third and the fourth line, have again similar melodic material to each other, but different from the beginning. So we'd call that green box at the top A, and the blue box underneath B, because they've got quite different melodic materials. So binary, bi meaning two, form is something with two different sections in it. Ternary form is the organisation of a musical work with three sections. So normally the Latin would be tri, meaning three, but this is a derivative, so ternary, three sections, with a contrasting section between two repeated sections. So we're going to borrow our example from the world of classical music, and we're going to have a listen to Mozart's Andante in E flat major. You'll hear the yellow section, the A section first, followed by our B section, or the blue bit, and then it comes back to the A, and we hear the A section again for the second time in its entirety. So the other form that you need to know is called popular song form, or AABA form. It's also known as American popular song form or ballad form, and it has two opening sections or verses, a musically and lyrically contrasting bridge, and a final A section. It's also known as rounded binary, so you've got two sections of A, then a B, and then a little section of A at the end. The musical example for this one is Yesterday by the Beatles. So you'll hear two verses that sound very similar. We've got the lyrics there to help you follow along as well. And then you have a bridge or a B section that is quite different from what you've heard before. And then the final verse, you have the return of our original melody. The last two forms that we're going to be talking about today aren't technically in your syllabus, but they are really important to know. Strophic and through composed. And these two are opposites of each other. So strophic form is music in which every verse or chorus is sung to the same refrain or the same melody. Your musical examples are Jolene by Dolly Parton and Masters of War by Bob Dylan. Remember that Masters of War is one of our set works. The opposite of singing the same thing over and over again is changing it up. So you have through composed, or music with no repeated sections in which each section contains new melodic material. Have a listen to the two examples below, Bohemian Rhapsody, try and sing along. Your task at the end of this, listen to some of your favourite songs and some of our set works and see if you can map out the form. I'll give you an example and a template to do that, and then take a photo of it and send it to me through Connect. Good luck!